long time no see, everybody. It's been a little while since I've made a face episode. I hope you're doing amazing, and I hope you're ready for today's episode. It's a little bit weird being on camera, and I'm also filming at night time, which is a little bit weird. But yeah, I'm back and I'm ready for today's episode, and so is Jin. Jin doesn't really understand what we're going to read today, but I do. And I'm kind of jealous that he's not going to have to read this stuff. I'm sure some of it is going to be horrifying. Post number 1. Am I the a-hole for leaving my boyfriend at the bar after he told the waitress I was his sister as a joke? Oh my god, what? That's terrible. Oh no, that's awful. Actually awful. Am I the a-hole for leaving my boyfriend at the bar after he told the waitress I was his sister as a joke? That's not a joke. Oh no, I don't even need to read this, do I? Okay, so this happened last weekend and I'm still getting hate from my friends and even my mum for how I handled it. I, 21 female, have been dating 27 male for about 8 months. Things have been mainly great. He's cute and charming, a little bit cocky sometimes, but whatever. He has this habit of joking about not being serious with me when we're around other people. Oh, that's not a good sign. At a party once he introduced me as a friend of a friend. Wow. Another time he pretended he forgot my name in front of his college buddy. Every time I've brought it up, he's brushed it off as just a joke. Anyway, we were out with a few of his friends at this bar. It was pretty packed. And the waitress was definitely flirting with him and smiling a little bit too hard, touching his arm, that kind of thing. I wasn't too bothered at first. He can be friendly and doesn't always realize when somebody's hitting on him. But then I got up to go to the bathroom, and when I came back, I heard the waitress laughing and saying, "Oh my god, seriously?" I asked what was so funny, and she said, "Your brother is hilarious." I looked at him and he smirked and said, "Yeah, I told her you're my sister. Just messing with her." Oh yeah, I'm sure you are, dude. OP, you deserve better than this. Yeah, that's a very good point, Jin. No, it's not really a joke. I didn't laugh, I just said cool. I grabbed my stuff and I walked out. I took an Uber home. He didn't follow me, but he texted saying that I was being dramatic. Oh dude, and that it was just a joke. I haven't seen him since. Yeah, you don't need him, OP. I feel like you handled this super well. Now his friends are messaging me saying that I embarrassed him. Excuse me. Pretty sure he embarrassed you. And even my mum said that I should have just played along instead of storming off like a child. What? She said guys do dumb stuff sometimes. And if I wanted to keep a man, I need to pick my battles. Nah. I don't know, it just felt icky. Yeah, it definitely was icky. Like he was trying to downplay our relationship or seem available for the attention. Oh yeah, he definitely was. No, you handled this so well, OP, and you don't need him. That's not a good partner. Yeah, the top comment. I love these posts that start with, "My boyfriend or husband is a great partner," and then proceed to describe a really crappy partner that gives absolutely no about the feelings of their partner. Yeah, he's not a great partner at all. The second top comment says, "Just because your mum's so desperate to keep a man that she'll accept disrespect as a quirk does not mean that you have to. Not the a-hole." The comment below that says, "Not the a-hole, tell him that you're not into incest and dump him." Yeah, like I'm your brother, am I, dude? That's actually terrible. That's not a great partner. Yeah, the comment below that too. "If you stay, this'll be your life. Everything is just a joke." Yeah, you deserve better, OP. That annoys me so much too. Like it's just a joke. You're being dramatic because you're upset. Like OP wasn't dramatic. OP should have dumped him on the spot. OP said, "Update, he texted me a few more times after I posted, saying that I was overreacting and that I can't take a joke, but no actual apology." Like the audacity, I'm so done. And the advice that your mum gave you, OP, was so bad. Like, oh yeah, just put up with it. No. OP said, "Update 2. I haven't blocked him yet, but I haven't responded either. I need some space." Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I realize I'm just tired of being the butt of his jokes. It wasn't just the waitress, it's been a pattern. One of his friends even messaged me and said that he gets why I left. My mum's also come around a bit. I don't know exactly what's next, but I know I deserve better than this. Yeah, for sure, OP, you definitely do. And one of his friends saying that, oh, you embarrassed him. Like, hey, he embarrassed OP. Oh, you embarrassed him by walking out when he did something super rude and super disrespectful. Oh, poor him. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. He embarrassed himself. Yeah, what a wonderfully concerning start to the episode. Post number 2. Am I the a-hole for loading kids up on sugar at my 6-year-old son's birthday party when the other parents just dropped them off? This past weekend, we hosted a birthday party for my son, male 6. Standard setup, park location, party games, balloons and snacks and cake. We had some cookies, some lollies and drinks available, water and juice and yeah, Coke. Pretty normal stuff for a kid's party, nothing extreme. Here's the thing, most parents just dropped their kids off and left. Some didn't even say hi or check in. Wow. Just handed the kid over and took off. Again, I don't mind hosting, but if you're not gonna stay, I'd assume that you trust what's on offer. Now, a couple of those same parents are apparently complaining that we loaded their kids with sugar and gave them Coke. One mum said that her kid was bouncing off the walls and that we were irresponsible. But here's what gets me. Every kid who was offered Coke said they were allowed to have it. Not one mentioned any restrictions or allergies or preferences. Meanwhile, my own son doesn't like fizzy drinks or juice. He only drinks water or milk. So it's not like I was pushing anything onto him or anybody else. The food and drink were just there. Help yourself style. If somebody had mentioned their kid wasn't allowed soft drink, I would have absolutely respected that. But I can't read minds. And if you don't stay at the party or say anything about dietary restrictions, can you really be upset after? So am I the a-hole for not micromanaging what the other kids ate and drank at a party where their own parents weren't even present? Okay, so my thoughts on this. The parents, if they don't want their kid to have something, they should make that clear so that the other person knows that they shouldn't have it. But like a lot of comments are saying too, Coke does have caffeine in it. So like that's not a good choice really for a 6-year-old. Is that how old they were? Yeah, male 6. So like the comment where they said, oh, they're bouncing off the walls. Yeah, probably because there's caffeine in Coke. The top comment says, it's your responsibility to load the kids up with sugar and send them home feral. The response says, exactly. That's the entire point of a kid's birthday party. The second top comment says, not the a-hole. If parents leave without instructions, they're assuming their child has personal responsibility for their own rules. Not your fault if their child didn't do this, or as I'm assuming, was too young to be left with this responsibility from their parents. Comment below that says, not the a-hole. This was a standard birthday party when I was a kid. Parents could have stuck around or told you not to give the kids soda if they cared that much. The comment below that says, in my country, kids don't get Coke because of the caffeine, but sugary snacks and drinks are standard for birthday parties, so I have no idea what these parents are on about. And comment below that says, in my opinion, sugar is reasonable at a 6-year-old kid's party, but caffeinated Coke is not. Yeah, so that definitely seems like the consensus. All the top comments are not the a-hole, and a lot of other comments are pretty similar to this one. It's a kid's birthday party. The whole point of it is for them to get loaded up on sugar. Coke with caffeine is a bit much though. Yeah, talking about the fact that Coke has caffeine in it. I remember when I learnt that Coke had caffeine in it, and I was like, what? What do you mean? And how much does it actually have? Coca-Cola Classic, 34 milligrams of caffeine per 12-ounce can. Diet Coke has 46 milligrams of caffeine per can, and Coke Zero has 35 milligrams of caffeine per can. Yeah, so that would definitely add up. Post number 3, am I the a-hole if I break up with my boyfriend for ruining my attorney swearing in moment? Hi, I 35 female was recently sworn in as an attorney, but my boyfriend 33 male ruined it. I graduated law school in May 2023. I was going to take the bar that July, but I was diagnosed with an aggressive form of breast cancer a month before the exam. Oh, that's so awful. The diagnosis threw me for a loop, and it ruined what I pictured my life after law school would be. I withdrew from the July exam and I transferred everything to the February 2024 exam, thinking that I'd be done with treatment. Wrong. I took my first bar exam in the middle of radiation treatment and almost 2 months after my surgery. I took that exam mainly because I had already paid, but I didn't take it as seriously as I would have had I not just gone through 16 rounds of chemo and surgery and actively in radiation treatment. Unfortunately, I had to take the bar exam a couple of extra times before I got a passing score, which given that I just finished my active cancer treatments in May May 2025. I guess it's not that bad. Fast forward to now, I got a notification that my oath ceremony was Tuesday of this week. Since life loves to throw curveballs at me, I opted to do the swearing in via Zoom because my dad had a heart attack the Tuesday before and 5 mini strokes after that, which left him having limited mobility. My boyfriend and I live about 1.5 hours away from my parents. I went to my parents' place and he stayed at home. I wanted him to be there with me, not just to witness such a momentous moment for me, but also as support because of everything my parents are going through. My mum has stage 4 gastric cancer. Things with getting him to my parents was just too complicated, so we agreed we could FaceTime during the ceremony. The ceremony started and the judge was giving her speech and began swearing people in. My boyfriend was waiting on the call patiently for most of it. However, at one point I saw out of the corner of my eye that he'd gone into a store. That happened just as it was about to be my turn. Oh no. Then I saw the call disconnected. He'd lost signal. About 3 seconds after the call ended, it was my turn to do the oath. I was already mad that he was going to miss the moment that I'd waited so long for, but then it got worse. He began to call me repeatedly in the middle of my oath. Every time the call would come in, it would ring on my computer, distracting not only me but also the judge administering the oath. I would quickly ignore the call, but then another would go through. He called me about 6 times, which covered the entire oath. I'm extremely upset. After everything I'd gone through to get to that point, and everything I was still going through just for that to happen, not only did he miss it, but he ruined it. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but the call still came through. Also, would he have not figured out by the second or third ignored call that maybe he should stop calling? Part of me thinks he did it on purpose. I don't know how to feel anymore, but honestly, I think I want to break up over this. Am I the a-hole? No, definitely not. Oh my god, OP said in the comments he went to get bagels. Are you joking? He was supportive during the cancer treatments. He's never given me reason to think that he's jealous or threatened of my career, but I am the first truly independent partner that he's had. Maybe he is subconsciously. The response says, bagels? During the most important impressive moment after everything you went through? No, that's beyond selfish. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished. I'm very sorry that he ruined your moment over bagels. Please truly think this over, but I would be done. This comment says not the a-hole. I'm already questioning how anything could be important enough for him to miss being there with you in person for something this important, first of all. And second of all, if he knew it was about to be your turn, he wouldn't have been walking into a store at that point if he cared. Period. Even if that call did disconnect accidentally, which I've got doubts about, it still seems like common sense that he knew what was going on and would know why you couldn't answer the first time he tried to call back. Instead, he called repeatedly, conveniently just enough times to cover the length of an oath that he'd just watched several other people take, meaning he knew exactly how long it took. Is this the first time something like this has happened? Or has he unintentionally ruined other important occasions in the past? I'm sorry, and maybe I'm too cynical, but I think he ruined this moment for you on purpose. Yeah, that's so bad. Like, really bad. OP's got a comment. Hi everybody, just an update, we broke up. Not exactly because of what happened during my swearing in ceremony, although that didn't help. My dad's back in hospital. I asked him to join me in going to see him, but he got mad because I ruined his plans to have a cookout on the lake. I think a lot of doubts were answered with that. Our priorities do not match, and it's evident that we're no longer a good fit. I want to address a couple of things from the comments. Number one, we were together for a year and 4 months. He was not with me during law school. He was not with me when I was going through the 16 rounds of chemo or my surgery. However, he was with me for radiation, additional HER2 treatment, and bar prep. He was not my main caretaker though. My mum and dad uprooted their whole life to come take care of me. However, he would take me to appointments and supported me emotionally. I'm definitely not overlooking any of that. I'll forever be grateful for him because of it. Number two, I didn't answer the call because I was literally doing the oath when the calls were coming in. I had to pay attention to the oath and be ready to repeat it. And also, I wasn't going to answer the call and risk him start asking me why I wasn't answering and then interrupting the oath even more. There was too much going on and I didn't have a moment to pause. For those discussing my writing, this isn't a legal brief, it's a Reddit post. Get over it. Number four, for those asking why it was too complicated to have him go, I was on a work trip when my dad had the heart attack and the strokes. I got home Saturday night and I went to see him Sunday morning. My plan was to stay there until the swearing in ceremony. My boyfriend didn't want to spend the night at my parents', so he didn't want to go. He doesn't have a license right now, so he couldn't drive over on Tuesday. I suggested that he take a bus from where we live to my parents' town. He didn't want to do that either because he didn't know where to catch the bus from. Bro, figure it out. I stopped suggesting solutions to the problem because he kept on shutting them down. Yeah, that's so bad. Like, oh no, I don't want to do that. Nah, I don't want to do that. Like, bro, put some effort in. Yeah, like this comment says, sounds like he just didn't give a Yeah, it sounds like he didn't really give a about anything. There really are men out there who don't want their partner, girlfriend, or wife to succeed. Is he one of them? Only you know. What I know is that he on a once-in-a-lifetime moment. I don't know your history and if he was with you during your cancer treatments and how much he supported you, but I'd definitely have a conversation with him, tell him how you feel, and depending on his response, decide if you want to continue the relationship. Congratulations on success of your cancer treatments and also becoming a lawyer. Yeah, it didn't seem like he cared about anything. This comment says, not the a-hole, he literally couldn't be any more self-absorbed. Going to a store when he's supposed to witness an important key moment of his partner's life, he doesn't care about you. But then to just keep on calling is so ignorant. Any sane person with at least some intelligence wouldn't do that if they know that you're in an important meeting. He made your moment about himself. If he did it on purpose or not, he was disrespectful. It may have been malicious or just out of indifference to you. Either way, that's not a base for a relationship. Yeah, you deserve better, OP, and all the best in the future. Post number 4. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife to stay in our own home instead of sleeping at her sister's all the time? I don't even know where to start. I'm tired. Like soul deep tired. Wow, soul deep tired. I've never heard that before. That's a good way of putting it. Every night I get home from work exhausted, sweaty, starving, and guess what? I open the door to a quiet, dark house. No wife, no dinner, no note, just me in the same old cold silence. She's always at her sister's, like always. Not just visiting for a few hours sleeping there, most nights of the week. Sometimes I don't see her for 2 or 3 nights straight. She says it's just more comfortable there, or she's used to it, or her sister needs company. But what about me? I didn't marry her just to live alone like a bachelor again. What's the point of having a wife if I'm eating instant noodles in silence every night while she's out there acting like she's still single? Or like her sister is her actual partner? Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying, OP, but what's the point of having a wife if I'm eating instant noodles in silence every night? You can still cook yourself food. I don't know if you're being serious about the eating instant noodles in silence every night, but I hope that you cook for yourself. I finally snapped. I told her straight, can you please stay home? This is our house. I come home to no one. It's starting to feel like I'm not even married. She didn't yell. She just looked at me and said, you know how close I am with my sister? You knew this before we got married. And yeah, I did know they were close, but I didn't think I'd be married to a ghost. Now she's mad at me for controlling her. Her sister even sent me a long-ass message about how I'm isolating her and I'm being insecure. But I swear to God, all I'm asking for is a wife who actually lives with me, who I can talk to at night, eat with, wake up next to. Isn't that what marriage is supposed to be? She says I'm selfish, but is it really selfish to want your partner to come home? Am I the a-hole? Yeah, from what I can see here, it's a not the a-hole consensus. The top comment says, how much more time are you gonna waste? And the response says this, OP is well beyond denial. She's less than 0% interested in being your wife. It's not even a battle worth fighting because she's not in the relationship at all. Document the situation, separate legally, divorce on grounds of abandonment. Find someone who actually likes you next time, OP. The comment below that says, honestly, it sounds like she has a codependent relationship with her sister from what OP's saying. I don't think it's a situation OP fixes themselves. It sounds like therapy's in order. If their wife isn't down with that, make the hard choice. I don't know how old OP is, but they shouldn't spend their life alone because their spouse is codependent with their sister. And OP said, thanks, that really puts things in perspective. I agree, this goes deeper than I thought, and maybe therapy is the only way forward. A comment below that says, what's the point of having a wife if I'm eating instant noodles in silence every night? That sounds pathetic. Learn to cook, my dude. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like the consensus is not the a-hole here. There are definitely comments saying that there's not enough information and that there's gotta be information that OP's not mentioning. A comment below that says, all I'm gonna say is it's kinda weird that you're complaining about the dinner. You're a grown man, you can cook something for yourself. Other than that, not the a-hole. All the top top comments are pretty much saying not the a-hole, but please learn how to cook. Okay, moving on to post number 5. Am I the a-hole for not cooking breakfast for my niece and nephew? My 36 male sister, 34 female, moved into my house about 2 months ago with her 2 kids, 7 male and 4 female, after she ended a really bad relationship. I've always been an early-ish riser and I like to get up and make myself breakfast around 7 or 8 a.m. Nothing spectacular, just whatever I felt like that day. When my sister moved in, I realized that she liked to sleep in. Some days she was up as late as 1 p.m. I gave her the benefit of the doubt since I knew how hard her breakup was for her. Since my sister slept so late daily, she wouldn't get up and take care of her kids. I got into a morning routine with my niece and nephew that basically whatever I cooked myself for breakfast, I'd make enough for them as well. Until the other morning, I woke up and had an urge to make huevos rancheros. The kids immediately started complaining that they didn't want that and they wanted something different. I was nice and I ended up making them pancakes, since it's not their fault that their mum's really struggling. The next morning I was making breakfast potatoes and eggs, but all I heard was, "We don't want that, we want something different." So again, I obliged. Finally, after 3 mornings of my unwanted food critics getting a separate meal, I finally told them, I'm no longer cooking 2 different meals for breakfast. If you don't like what I'm making, go ask your mum to get up and do it. So they went upstairs to wake her up, but she still didn't come downstairs until after 1 p.m. The kids immediately started complaining that I refused to feed them, and my sister was pissed. She started in about how they need to be fed by a certain time, and a bunch of other things that she said to try and intentionally hurt me. I snapped and told her, look, I know you're depressed, but wake up and take care of your kids instead of expecting me to do it. She got quiet after that and is still giving me the cold shoulder, but I know she's expecting me to apologize. Sorry this was long-winded, but let me have it. Am I the a-hole? The top comment says sleeping until 1 p.m. means she's missing their breakfast and lunch, ages 7 and 4, and is still pretty dependent on an adult for balanced meals. Your sister's lame. The response says, I want to know who was feeding the kids before this, since it sure doesn't seem like mum gives a crap. And what happens if one of the kids wakes up during the night? A nightmare or not feeling well? Does she throw a fit for them waking her up? The second top comment says, not the a-hole. Number 1, you're right. Despite anything she's going through, your sister is still the children's mother, and they're her responsibility. It's unfair of her to expect you to make them breakfast so that she can sleep in. Number 2, it's very kind of you to cook for them anyway, but that doesn't mean you have to go out of your way. There's nothing wrong with expecting the kids to eat what you're making. You're not a short order cook. And finally, in my experience, always cooking what the kids ask for is a quick way to turn them into overly picky eaters. And OP said, I literally told them the other morning that I'm not running a diner here. When one asked me for pancakes and the other asked me for a breakfast sandwich, I was concerned about them becoming picky eaters, but even more concerned that they would always expect this treatment. And I knew if I didn't nip it in the bud now, it'd get worse. The comment below that says, do not apologize. Whatever you do, do not apologize. We all have hard times in life. Many struggle with mental health as well. That's not an excuse to neglect your children. 4-year-olds need supervising, I may add. She's gotten used to you waiting on her kids, and how dare she even consider laying into you? Who does she think she is? Her children are her responsibility. You've been kind enough to give her and her children a roof. You've taken care of her kids for a period of time, allowing her time and space to get her head together. Now she needs to get her head out of her ass and start taking care of her children. I'd start waking her up by whatever time she said her children need feeding by. Reminded that her children need feeding, and that's her responsibility. Have her start pulling her weight in the house and contributing financially, if she isn't already, which I doubt she is. Not the a-hole. Yeah, definitely not the a-hole in the comments. The comment under that says, not the a-hole, I've been in your position and I've been a depressed mother before. You don't owe her an apology. I think you need to have a conversation with your sister about boundaries and expectations. If she's not okay with that, then she needs to find somewhere else to recover. Yeah, the audacity of her to be like, they need to be fed by a certain time, while sleeping in every day until 1 p.m, expecting OP to do this. Yeah, like the start of the post says, my sister moved into my house about 2 months ago with her 2 kids, after she ended a really bad relationship. So OP took her and her kids in, but now all of a sudden it's also OP's responsibility to look after her kids? Nah. Yeah, you're not the a-hole, OP. Okay, the next one. Jin is leaving by. Old man Jin has left the basket. Post number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, post number 6. I didn't let my husband eat my sandwich. My husband and I were chilling on the couch and I mentioned that I was hungry. I placed an order from one of our favorite sandwich shops. I asked him 3 times while ordering if he would like one as well, and he said no. 3 times. He had just had breakfast and wasn't hungry. The sandwich arrived and I cut off a small bit of it to eat, and then I saved the rest for later. I don't have a large appetite, I'm kind of a grazer. I take one bite and he says, "Oh, I want a bite of that." I said, "Why didn't you order yourself one?" "I wasn't hungry until I smelt yours." No, dude, you said no 3 times. I ended up letting him have 3 bites of mine, and I told him to order his own. I don't like sharing food unless it's planned, and he knows this. We've been together for 10 years. I literally have to hide snacks from him because he'll find them and eat them, because I don't eat all of it at once. He orders his sandwich. It's 30 minutes delivery. He wants another bite of mine. I said no. Now I'm a crazy selfish hypocrite who won't share food. Oh my god. He's now brought up every meal that we've had the past 2 weeks as an example of his food generosity. Mind you, every meal was planned to be shared. Now we aren't speaking. Am I the a-hole? The top comment says, not the a-hole. Does he have issues with food? Or is he just selfish and self-absorbed by nature? And OP said he eats everything he likes in the house because if it's there, he wants it. I can leave a package of chocolates in the fridge for 3 months and have one every week or so. He eats the whole package in a day. Why I have to hide snacks from him? And the response says, so is he completely selfish then? Or is it a compulsive eating thing? And OP said he's a compulsive eater. I have to hide my snacks from him. If he sees it, he eats it. And I've got a really big issue with my food that I've saved for later disappearing. I'm just ordering 2 next time. And the response to that says this seems like a compatibility thing. He acting like a spoiled child speaking to you that way in any case. And OP said thank you. I felt that he completely overreacted on the dumbest thing ever. The whole day over because of a sandwich. Shaking my head. A comment below that says you gave him 3 bites too many. When his gets there, eat half of it. He's the hypocrite. And OP said thank you. 3 bites was selfish. I was supposed to let him have the rest of mine because he couldn't handle the wait time. Like what? And a comment below that says not the a-hole, your husband needs to grow up. And OP said that's exactly what I told him after his screaming fit. Yeah, the response, I'm sorry, he yelled at you over a sandwich. And OP said, yup, for 15 minutes. That's why we aren't talking. Yeah, you're not the a-hole, OP. The next one, am I the a-hole for refusing to help my boyfriend's dying mother while planning a trip to Europe? I, 25 female, live with my boyfriend Liam, 24 female. About a month ago, his mum Tanya began claiming that she's dying of cancer, but no diagnosis has been confirmed. Every hospital visit ends with her being sent home. A nurse even told Liam that she might be faking it. It started when she stayed one night at our 1-bedroom apartment. That turned into a week of chaos. She refused AC and fans, said they hurt her skin, and blow-dried her hair daily. The apartment smelled awful. Everything had to be dark and silent, and she constantly demanded help. She even stormed into our bedroom at 3 in the morning asking Liam for massages. We sleep naked, so that was pretty awkward. She criticized our Buddha souvenirs, insisted that we hang across. I did, and complained non-stop. She suggested that we move in with her, an hour from our jobs and school. I'm a full-time student with 2 jobs and a 4.0 GPA, and I was falling behind. Liam, who works full-time, switched to remote work. His boss hated this, to care for Tanya. Her health updates were always shifting. MRI, cancelled surgery, then chemo postponed due to infection, then E. coli. Always a new reason, no clear diagnosis or paperwork. When her husband David, who funds her lifestyle, was away, she made us go to her house to get her jewelry because she thinks he'll steal it when she dies. He's an alcoholic according to her. We were supposed to take her to the ER right after, but we ended up staying 16 hours doing chores. I folded 420 clothing items, cleaned the whole house, and I felt like her unpaid maid. Not a single please or thank you. She was stalling to go to the ER, and when we finally got there at 5 a.m, she said that she'd check herself in and sent us home. 3 hours later, she called again sobbing for help. She had been rejected by the ER. I suspect that she faked it. Liam and I have both been skipping meals and losing sleep and falling behind at work to help her. He once said that he's waiting for her to pass away so that we can move to Europe. He's been forced to manage her divorce and lawyer meetings and funeral prep. Meanwhile, David, who's paying for the hospital bills and who had been kept in the dark about all of this, sent Liam aggressive texts like, I call bullshit and don't show up at my house no more, and then later apologized. Tanya called again begging for help, but this time she wanted me, because David is jealous of Liam. I had clearly told Liam that I needed that weekend to study for final exams, and going to the house alone seemed sketchy. Now, I'm planning a 2 to 3 week Europe trip to see my mum, who I haven't seen in over a year. Liam says he supports it, but called it a little selfish. He's asking, if I were dying, would you quit your job to be with me? And if it were your mum, would you help her? I felt pressured to say yes, but the truth is, my family wouldn't lie to me or use me like this. Yeah, I love Liam and I want to be there for him, but I don't trust his mum, and this is starting to affect our relationship. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help Tanya and going home to Europe? No. The top comment, since I'm pretty sure she's not sick, at least not physically, you're definitely not the a-hole. It's time for your boyfriend to get real and tell his mum to set up a family meeting with an oncologist to discuss her treatment and her next steps, or he's done. This is the normal progression when treating this disease. In and out of ERs is not. Yeah, for sure. Like what, your boyfriend thinks that you guys should blindly keep on helping and doing everything that his mum says when you are fairly certain that she's not even sick? Yeah, nah. The comment below that, break up, move out, go on vacation, stop dealing with crazy mum and boyfriend. Yeah, and the response, Liam's gonna around and find out. He's slowly losing OP. The comment below that says, not the a-hole, I know you love your boyfriend, but you need to ask yourself if you're willing to give up your own life for him and his mum, because it's never gonna stop. It could stop if he chooses to set boundaries, but it doesn't sound like he'll do that. And OP said thank you. He's assured me multiple times that I'm his priority. If I told him to stay with me instead of going to the hospital, he would. And the only times I'll ever ask him to stay is when I can tell his own health is suffering from it. He's also ready to move to Europe with me. It's just that he's getting guilt tripped by his mother. Every time he tries to leave the hospital, she falls to her knees and says stuff like, God will bless you more if you stay. This is our last meal together. Or I have no one, I'm all alone. And that's what gets to him. Yeah, well, surely he can see that he's being guilt-tripped. He needs to stop doing everything that she says. Recently, he asked me to come to the hospital with him to give him a reason to leave early. When we tried to explain to her that we have an appointment elsewhere, she cut us off and said, just go then. She didn't care for an explanation. When Liam said, bye mum, I love you, she snapped back, actions speak louder than words. Don't call me anymore. But then 2 hours later, she calls him and begs for him to come back. I don't get it. Oh, she sounds so toxic. This comment says, not the a-hole, does Liam see that she's faking it? Or does he genuinely believe her? Not that it really makes a difference. You cannot let this affect your life to the point of no return. Absolutely keep doing things for yourself, and he should too. And OP said, so I don't think he sees it. I've brought it up once that what she's doing is manipulation, and he said, that's a bit harsh. Oh my god, what? I then asked him if he thinks he's ever been manipulated by his mum, and he said, oh definitely. She's the biggest manipulator I know. But this is different because she's actually sick, so she just really needs me to be with her. So I think he's a bit in denial. Unless I'm the crazy one and she really is sick, I'd owe the world an apology. The response says, if she's dying of cancer, why doesn't she have a single shred of medical evidence of that? Why isn't she doing chemo? What specialist had she seen? Medication? If she's dying, she should be eligible with most insurance for hospice services. Tell her to sign up for that. If she doesn't, that's her refusing help and it's not your problem. I seriously can't believe y'all are this gullible and you're just kinda letting this happen to you. Insist on attending appointments with her. If she's getting kicked out of the ER, someone needs to go along to advocate for her. Don't take no for an answer. If she refuses to prove it, refuse to let her drag you down with her. If your boyfriend can't cut the cord with her, better to know that now and not when you've got a mortgage together and he moves her in permanently. Oh yeah, and he absolutely would. But this is different because she's actually sick. OP said that she gets sent home from the ER because there's nothing wrong. She's manipulating the life out of you and your boyfriend, OP. OP's got a comment that says she's been to her oncologist and apparently been diagnosed with uterine cancer. However, she doesn't want anybody to sit in when the doctor speaks to her. So I've got no idea if it's even true or if that's what she's telling everybody. I don't want to be an awful person by saying that she's lying, but it seems weird that the surgery and chemo keep getting pushed because she has infections, and then they send her home and nobody knows if it's getting rescheduled. Yeah, like the top comment said, it's time for your boyfriend to get real and tell his mum to set up a family meeting with her oncologist to discuss her treatment and next steps, or he's done. This comment says, you know that she's faking it, but you're jeopardizing your future to play into her delusions. You need to stop before you screw yourself over permanently, not the a-hole. Okay, that's enough for today. We need to read something wholesome. I am so ready for something wholesome. 5-year-old me trying to see if the fridge light remained on after I closed the door. Yeah, why was that such a mystery? Like, I remember doing that too and being so interested by it. Like, does it go off when I shut the door? Like, I need to find out how this works. That is so cute. And that's a really cute cat too. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a great time today. And if you did, make sure you let me know down below in the comment section. And the comment of the day goes to Christian. All I'm saying is a few episodes back, I pointed out that here was 3 cats in a trench coat, and all of a sudden he's not on camera, almost like he's nervous that people are starting to notice. What can I say? I'm cats in a trench coat. No, I'm not, but I wish I was. Being a cat would be so awesome. That is so funny, and thank you for the comment. And thank you for the support, everybody. I really appreciate it. I'm so tired after what we've read today. Am I the a-hole can be so exhausting, but I also love it so much. I'll see you in the next episode, everybody. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every other day. Bye!